Before the bells rang, before the prayers echoed, before trust turned into tears, something dark was already waiting behind the walls of St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School. Parents believed this place was heaven on earth for their daughters, a school built on prayers, run by reverend sisters and a reverend father, where girls were shaped into leaders, saints and future mothers of the nation. But what if the very walls meant to protect them were hiding a secret? What if a school known for holiness would soon be remembered for silence, fear, and a name that would never be forgotten? This is where the story begins. St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School was more than just a school. It was a place parents spoke about with pride and hope. It stood majestically on a wide serene piece of land, surrounded by ancient trees that offered shade and calm. The school bell rang soft yet firm, calling the girls to prayers, study and discipline. Owned by the Catholic mission, everything in the school followed strict rules, order and prayer. Each morning began with mass in the grand chapel at the heart of the school. Girls walked quietly, rosaries in hand, uniforms neat and pressed. Parents trusted St. Teresa deeply. They believed that once a girl entered the school, she was safe. They believed their daughters would be shaped into strong, virtuous women, future leaders, mothers and pillars of society. The teachers were all reverend sisters, calm in demeanor, yet firm in guidance. They taught with love, corrected with discipline, and inspired with faith. The hostel were clean and orderly. Each girl had a bed, a locker, and rules to follow. Lights went off on time. Silence were respected, and prayers were said before bed. Every new session, the school came alive. Cows filled the compound, parents carried books, food items and luggage. Girls laughed, cried, and hugged their families goodbye, filled with excitement and nervous anticipation. St. Teresa was known as one of the best girls' schools in the country, a place where evil seemed impossible to enter. But behind the quiet walls, the orderly prayers, and the disciplined routines, a painful story was waiting to unfold. When a new session began at St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School, the school ground came alive once again. Girls arrived with their parents, carrying bags, dreams, and mixed emotion. Some felt afraid, some felt excited, some felt both. Among the new students was a calm and gentle girl named Agnes. Agnes was a transfer student into SS1. She came from a small but loving family. She was the only daughter, protected and cherished by her two older brothers, who watched over her like royal guards. Her parents raised her with love, discipline and strong faith. From a very young age, Agnes had always loved God. She found joy in prayer more than in play. She believed God listened whenever she spoke, no matter how small her words were. Deep in her heart, she carried two big dreams. She wanted to become a nun, and she also hoped to become a medical doctor someday. Knowing her heart and her dreams, Agnes' parents believed St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School was the perfect place for her. The school was holy. It was trusted. It was known across the country for shaping girls into strong, disciplined, and God-fearing women. In the classroom, Agnes quickly stood out. She was smart and intelligent. She understood lessons easily and often helped others who were confused. She spoke softly and explained patiently. Before long, her teachers noticed her sharp mind and calm spirit. But what truly set Agnes apart was her deep love for God. She was often found in the chapel, kneeling quietly in prayer, She sang gently during hymns and served without complaint. Her devotion was pure and sincere. The school principal, Reverend Father Matthew, who also served as the school chaplain, observed Agnes closely. Her commitment did not go unnoticed. After careful thought, he made a decision that surprised no one. Agnes was appointed chapel prefect. The students welcomed the news with joy. They trusted her leadership. They admired her kindness and peaceful voice. Because Agnes cared deeply for everyone, the students gave her a special nickname. They called her Mother Hen. She shared her food. She listened to problems. She protected the weak. She confronted the lonely. Among all the teachers, one person stood out most to Agnes, Reverend Sister Mary. Agnes admired her deeply. She saw her dedication, her hard work, and her strong love for God. Slowly, Agnes grew close to her. Sister Mary guided her. She prayed with her. She corrected her with love. Over time, Sister Mary became more than a teacher. She became a mother figure to Agnes. Within the peaceful walls of St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School, Agnes found purpose, love, and guidance, unaware that dark shadows were already forming around her bright future. Within just 1 year at St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School, Agnes became a name everyone knew. Students talked about her in the hostel. Teachers mentioned her during staff meetings. She slowly became the face of prayer, goodness, and excellence. The school principal, Reverend Father Matthew, grew very fond of Agnes. He guided her like a father would guide his own child. He supported her academically, corrected her with love, and encouraged her spiritual growth. Under his guidance, Agnes continued to shine. Yet Agnes never became proud. She remained humble and gentle. Her only desire was to serve God and do her best in everything she did. Students loved her. Teachers supported her. To many, Agnes was a blessing to the school. But not every heart was at peace. Her roommate, Eunice, watched everything in silence. Before Agnes arrived at St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School, Eunice had been special. In her junior class, she served as the chapel prefect. She dreamt of continuing in that role in her senior class. In her mind, the position already belonged to her. Then Agnes came into the picture. The position was given to Agnes. The praise followed Agnes. The attention followed Agnes. Slowly, painful questions began to form in Eunice's heart. What is so special about Agnes? Why does everyone admire her? Why was I forgotten so easily? Each question planted anger deep inside her. Envy took root and bitterness followed closely behind. One evening, Eunice sat quietly with two of her friends, Peace and Joy. Her voice was low, but her words were sharp. I will deal with Agnes, she said. I will teach her a lesson she will never forget. Peace and Joy exchanged frightening glances. Eunice's eyes were cold, filled with emotions she could no longer hide. Yet Agnes knew nothing. She laughed with Eunice. She shared her stories with her. She prayed with her. She called her my bestie. Agnes never imagined that the girl she trusted the most, the one she slept beside every night, was hiding hatred behind friendship. Exam period arrived like a heavy crowd over St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School. Books filled every corner. Girls studied day and night. Everyone wanted to be the best. There were awards attached to the exam. Best student, best in class, best in subject. The pressure was intense. Sleep became short and prayers became deeper. Agnes also prepared diligently. She studied with focus and prayed with strong faith. She believed effort and prayer must go together. One night, Agnes attended night class with two of her friends under the bright school light. They read quietly, revised their notes and solved questions together. When it was time to return to the hostel, Agnes suddenly stopped. She turned to her friends with a gentle smile. "I want to go to the chapel to pray," she said softly. "I will meet you in the hostel." She handed them her books. Her friends nodded in understanding and waved goodbye. Agnes turned and walked towards the chapel. That was the last time anyone saw Agnes alive. Morning came. The bell rang loudly for morning prayers. Girls jumped out of bed, and the hostel filled with noise. But Agnes' bed remained untouched. Her locker was still closed. She was not in her restroom. Her roommates grew worried. Fear soon spread. "Agnes is missing," someone shouted. The matron was called. Students gathered in confusion. A search began immediately. Classroom, hostels, and the chapel were checked. Then something strange was discovered. One of Agnes' footwear was found in the dining hall. Confusion turned into panic. How did it get there? Where was Agnes? The principal was informed and immediately contacted the police. Agnes' parents were also called. When they heard the news, their world collapsed. Crying and shaking, they rushed to the school. Their beloved daughter was missing. St. Teresa Catholic Girls High School, once peaceful and holy, fell into fear and silence. No one knew where Agnes was. No one knew what truly happened that night. The police arrived early the next morning. Their faces were serious and tension filled the air. The investigation began immediately. Agnes' roommate, Eunice, was the first to be questioned. She broke down in tears as she spoke, her voice shaking with fear. She told the police that she did not attend night class that evening because she had a fever. According to her, the school doctor gave her medication and advised her to rest. She explained that when Agnes left the room that night, she was already feeling weak and later fell asleep. She claimed she did not hear or see anything unusual. The police listened carefully and recorded her statement. Next, the two girls who attended night class with Agnes were questioned. They spoke clearly and confidently. They told the police that after studying, Agnes handed them her books and said she wanted to stop by the school chapel to pray before returning to the hostel. They waved her goodbye and headed back. According to them, when they arrived at Agnes' room, Eunice was fast asleep. They gently placed Agnes' books on her bed and left quietly. Still, Agnes was nowhere to be found. Fear grew deeper within the school. Students whispered in corners. Teachers prayed harder than ever before. Back home, Agnes' family could not rest. Friends and relatives became impatient, desperate for answers. Soon, the family threatened legal action against the school if their daughter was not found. The story spread quickly across the internet. Agnes' pictures circulated widely. Parents became afraid and angry. Many asked the same troubling question: how can a girl disappear in a holy school? The search intensified. Then 3 days after Agnes went missing, something terrible happened. The school cook went to the school well to fetch water. After she looked inside, she screamed. A lifeless body was floating in the well. She raised an alarm. Security officer rushed to the scene as students gathered in fear. When the body was pulled closer, everyone froze. It was Agnes. The police were called once again. Her body was brought out of the well. The school descended into chaos. Students wept openly. Teachers cried without shame. Reverend Sister Mary collapsed in tears, while Reverend Father Matthew could not hold himself and cried like a child. Their hearts were shattered. When the news reached Agnes' family, they collapsed in pain. They demanded justice for their daughter. The school that once felt safe now carried a deep wound, one that would never truly heal. Days passed after Agnes' body was pulled from the school well, and the atmosphere at St. Teresa Catholic Girls High School was heavy with sorrow. Teachers, students, and parents struggled to sleep. The chapel felt empty. The laughter of the once bright girl was gone. leaving only silence and grief. The authorities ordered an autopsy on Agnes' body. The result shocked everyone. She had a fractured skull. Someone had struck her with a weapon before she was pushed into the well. The rumors of suicide vanished. Fear and anger replaced them. It was now clear Agnes' death was no accident. The police requested CCTV footage from the principal, but he refused. St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School is an all-girls boarding school, he said. It is not appropriate to mount CCTV cameras on the premises because of student privacy. Meanwhile, Eunice, Agnes' roommate, could not sleep either. Though envy had once lived in her heart, her thoughts were now filled with regret and sorrow. She missed Agnes' smile. She missed her laughter. She confided in her two friends, Peace and Joy. Even though I didn't like Agnes, I never wished her dead. The words shocked her friend, but they stayed calm. Soon, they went to the principal and reviewed everything they knew. How Eunice had threatened Agnes, how she had promised to teach her a lesson, how she had admitted she never wished her dead. The principal added immediately and called the police. Eunice was arrested. Her parents were devastated. They could not believe their daughter, their child, could commit such a terrible act. They cried, begged and pleaded for mercy. Eunice herself wept, insisting she was innocent. She swore she did not kill Agnes, but the Nigerian police did not listen. Agnes' family demanded justice. The case became serious and Eunice was sent to juvenile detention. Meanwhile, many parents were heartbroken and fearful. They believed their daughters were no longer safe at St. Teresa Catholic Girls' High School. Many withdrew their children immediately. Only a few remained. The school, once a place of light and hope, was now haunted by sorrow, suspicion and fear. The laughter of students had gone silent. The memory of Agnes, the girl who had shone so brightly, lingered in every corner, a constant reminder of what had been lost. Thank you for watching. Who do you think is responsible for Agnes' death? Do you believe Eunice played a role? Or could it be someone she knew? Someone close? Someone she trusted? We would truly love to hear your thoughts. Drop your answer in the comments and let us know where you are watching from. To make this even more interesting, the most thoughtful and creative response will win a special prize from us. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your loved ones and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what comes next. Stay tuned for part 2 where the truth will finally be revealed. Thank you once again for watching. We really appreciate you all. God bless you.